This is Malcolm here with Alan Stone for TheNEHipHop and WERS 88.9 FM. Alan, man, that was a dope set.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
So, I got to interview Macklemore at the end of last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to interview at the Sinclair, but it got moved, which I told you about earlier. So I asked him a question for you, and he said, who won a fight between you and Ray Dalton? That was his question for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, man. What's funny is that me and Ray Dalton are like best friends, and so it would just be a hug off. And I think Ray could probably squeeze a lot tighter than I would, so I would say Ray would win that fight. But, man, Ray Dalton's the sweetest human being alive, man.
He seems a nice dude.
He's sweet. He's a big teddy bear, man. Every time I see Ray, I can't help but smile.
So off of that, how do you feel about, I guess you would say, the Blue-Eyed Soul really just having big records this year? Robin Thicke and Justin Timberlake are having some of the biggest R&B/pop records this year. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think it's great. I think I get a little testy with the whole Blue-Eyed Soul sort of thing because, I mean, reverse soul. We don't say like, we got a brown-eyed president.
You're right.
Soul music comes from somewhere that I don't think people can explain.
Exactly.
And I don't think it's necessarily strictly only for a specific race of human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Asian people sing soul music. That's just
some rap too.
Some rap, and
Asian rappers
like
killing it.
it's for me, I think it's great because we're very visual creatures, human beings, and we always describe based upon color and based upon sound and genre and all that. And so, but man, for me, that's a different type of soul music.
Absolutely.
Justin Timberlake and Robin Thicke, like that's sex music.
Yeah.
Like and there's no, it's not, to me, like rhythm and blues and soul music is like Grace Potter and the Nocturnals and Sharon Jones and Charles Bradley. Like that's soul music. Just what Justin Timberlake and Robin Thicke do, I love them to death. I love Justin's record, and I've been a big fan of Robin for a long time. But that's sex music, I mean, that's all it is. It's sex music.
And you also have this way of word of mouth and kind of just referral to your music. How did you build that kind of repertoire? I guess
there's no real science to music, I don't think, but I believe that there's maybe a method that you can go against. And for me, I've always looked at bands who never had big hits. Bands like, Radiohead's never really had a huge hit. Yeah. Bands like Fish have never had a huge hit. I mean, Dave Matthews Band had some big hits back in the '90s, but they never had like a like Macklemore hit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I love being on the road. I love playing. I love singing every night with my band. And to me, that's where most of the money in the industry is getting out and playing and putting on a good live show. I've always wanted to cultivate a following of people who know that every single night I'm going to go out and I'm going to entertain. Not just every record I put out, there's going to be one or two hits on it. Yeah, they can come out and see the hits, and then if I don't happen to have a hit on the next record, people forget about me. Right. And that happens with a lot of artists. They just kind of shooting for that hit, and obviously a hit would be awesome. I would love a hit, but I want my career to be based on, the live show, like the Tedeschi Trucks Band, or like the Black Crowes. Man, the Black Crowes haven't had a hit in a minute, and those guys still
tour every year.
They tour every year, 5,000 people a night. So, and to me, like that's real music. I mean, real music to me is being played in real time at that moment. It's not, coming out of a MacBook Pro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's not in the box, and that's art. That's art, and that's a certain form of art that I love, but it ain't live music.
I know, I feel you.
And so for me, that's always I always want to get better, and I always want to be able to rehearse and sing, and so, that's soul music to me. I think it's good. I went off a total rabbit trail, but to answer your question, yes, I think it's great that they're having big records. I don't know what the hell. Just rein me in.
Let me ask you though. So what was your favorite performance, man? Because you've been touring for like the past 3 years, just nonstop.
Yeah, nonstop for the last 3 years, about 5 years total.
Right. You know, what was your favorite performance that really like, this is it for me? Like, this is why I love to do this. That's a tough question.
It's a really tough question. I saw Charles Bradley. I flew in from Paris.
Wow.
Into Seattle at the end of a tour. I got into Seattle at like 6 p.m. I think, and I had no sleep or nothing. I went straight to the venue to see Charles Bradley sing, and that man, you can just tell like his aura, his energy around him is like, okay, that guy has been through the trenches. That guy's been in a foxhole.
Right.
And he has come out, and he's still every night. I don't know. I mean, that guy must be in his 60s, and he's still going 100%, 110%, just love and energy, giving it to people.
You know what's crazy, Alan? I seen him at South by Southwest this year, and he just like, he was just so like soulful is a cliche to use for him, but it's like at the end of his performance, he jumped off the stage and gave everybody hugs. Like, he was sweating, dripping in sweat, but his performance was so amazing. He got off the stage, jumped at the end, and was just so thankful. Yeah. So he'd been through stuff. You know what I mean? It's insane. That man is just unbelievable.
He is, and too many people don't know. That's the saddest part for me.
Right.
Not enough people know about Charles because he's such a light.
Yeah.
Like in this day and age where we have so many people at the forefront of music who aren't using their fame and notoriety for positivity.
Yeah.
Somebody like Charles Bradley, like that, man, he can lift a roof off a building.
Oh, my God.
And so many people don't know it. They don't understand that positivity that he brings.
No, you're right.
Man, I pray that type of music makes it come
I
back.
hope so, man. So let me ask you a question. You call yourself a hippie with soul, right?
Let's get this straight.
Okay.
I've never called myself that.
I'm reading wrong interviews.
A lot of somehow it got coined. Right. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so I won't call you a hippie with soul.
You can, baby. I don't care. That's cool. But I have never called me.
Let me ask, what is the difference between a hippie and a hipster?
Man, I don't know.
No right?
idea. To me, like when I think of the word hippie, I think of somebody who is not as concerned with the social norms.
Yeah.
They are a lot more invested into the spirit and the energy of a human being rather than the exterior.
Yeah.
But that's my personal perception of it, How that term got coined, man, one time I think somebody was like, it was actually an interviewer who probably did far less homework than you did. Came and said, so how do you what do you do? I don't know you. What do you do? And I was just like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of like a hippie I sing soul music,
pretty much.
And I think they just coined it as that, and it's kind of stuck. But yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm a nomad, really. Like the last 3 years of my life, I've lived in hotels and a bus, and I don't really have much family. I mean, I have family, but I don't have like a wife and kids, and I'm just this like weird gypsy nomad kind of thing.
How does that affect your music?
For me, it's affected it positively, you know, because I've been able to go and travel and meet people personally. My favorite thing, even more so than getting up on stage and performing, is after the show going out into the culture of the place we just played. Yeah. I'm trying to get a read on the people. Yeah. Because that's what I'm in the business for. Yeah. I'm in the business of singing good melodies, but also writing songs that are going to touch people where they are. And so learning, like, man, what are you dealing with? What are you facing? Like young adults my age, like, okay, you're coming out of college with $80,000 worth of debt. Like, what are you, what's your spirit like? And trying to find a way to read that and hopefully someday, touch people where they're at. Not just singing about my life, but positively enforcing, a powerful spirit towards overcoming for their life. Yeah,
and that's real. How did you approach, like, you wrote songs like Unaware and, all the songs off your off the Alan Stone album. How do you approach songwriting? Or do you take these experiences that you get from these cities and just do you pull from other influences? How do you really approach songwriting when it's time to create your next project? Or like for the Take One sessions, you did them live, but that Quick Calling song, man, what inspired that? That's what I don't know. What girl was that? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of things. How do you approach these songwriting?
Sometimes it's a lot of, it's all different.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I want to create a song that people will sing to. I write music for the people.
Okay.
I attempt to. I want to be a voice that sings songs that people can sing with. You know, I grew up singing in the church, and so I learned to sing in a congregation of people where, you know, the songs we chose on Sunday, we did so with the purpose that everybody could feel them and sing along and be touched.
Yeah.
And so for me, you know, songs like Unaware or Celebrate Tonight or, you know, Quit Calling even, you know, those are songs that the attempt was to write something that people could feel connected with me about and sing along and have a good time with. And so a lot of it is, okay, you know, where can I pull from my spirit that is going to also touch somebody else and be a close encounter spiritually, you know, energy-wise for the audience.
Yeah.
And, you know, so whether it's about politics or whether it's about love or whether it's about, you know, social media or whatever I choose to write about, I typically attempt to write something that I feel everybody's going through.
I'm going to ask you when we're getting some new music from Alan Stone. Let me ask you that right now. When are we getting some new music from Alan Stone?
I'll be getting in the studio right after this tour, actually.
Okay.
So hopefully by the top of the year.
Ooh. All right, that's an exclusive. You heard that here first. You have these dance battles at some of your shows. How did that start?
Well, I want people to. I love the science of uptight people.
Yeah.
and one of my favorite things to do as a human being is to take somebody that would normally see a person like me and not listen to anything that I say. And by the end of the show, seeing them just geeking out, ganking all over the dance floor, sweating, spitting, crying. I just love emotion. Yeah. You know, like, so many people come to I mean, a show is an awkward place for people sometimes. You know, you go to a show, you cram in to this little tight space. You know, my music is all standing room. You know, like we play theaters, but you know, we'll pull the seats out of them. Right. Because it's really standing type of music. And so first of all, you're standing, so that's uncomfortable. Then you're like crammed in near people you don't know, so that's uncomfortable. Right. So for me, I always try to figure out a way to where I can help them relax and help them, I guess, reinforce why they came in the first place. Right. And that was to have a good time. Hear songs that they like, but also just have a blast. And so the dance battle was just like, what can I do to get people to dance? And unfortunately, in our culture, if you make people compete against each other, they're like, oh, it's going on. But if it's just like, oh, let's dance together, then not very many people are apt to do it. You're right. So, yeah, I mean, I just one day, I forget where we were, I decided to split the room. Yeah. We're going to split this room, and we're going to do this side versus this side, and then it just was like, wow! You know, everybody started going crazy. Once you put them, once you throw some competition in there, So it's kind of a run. I mean, like, we've done some crazy, man. Atlanta one time was just like unbelievable. Really? Oh God, it was like people, you know, crowd surfing and like air humping. There was this one kid that like his friends got him to hold him up, and he was just air humping in the middle. It was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Girls up on shoulders. And
have you seen any twerking at any of your shows?
Oh, yeah. Twerking is all of it, man. People get down. People get down when they feel like they're comfortable. And we do it at the end of the set, too. So it's like they've all heard the songs they want to hear. They've all been emotionally moved, hopefully, by that point. Right. But when the dance comes on, like you look more like a fool if you're standing still.
Yeah, right. And that's perfect.
And I love that. You know, like the dudes are like, man, I'm way too hard. Like, you know, it's like, dude, you look like a fool right now because everybody around you is going crazy.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And my last question for you is, if you weren't, you know, a dope soul singer, what would you be doing?
Man, I love animals.
Yeah?
I would probably be working with them in some veterinarian.
Yeah.
Or I've always thought about, I think it would be cool to like own my own dog park or like my own dog sitting place. I love dogs. But yeah, I don't know. I've always wanted to sing. It's really weird. I've never when I was really young, I wanted to play basketball, but you know, then I realized what color I was.
This guy.
I soon gave that up. But yeah, you know, I love animals. I love nature.
Yeah.
I love the woods. I grew up in, you know, the backwoods.
Right.
I love snowboarding. I could probably see myself being a ski bum for a couple of years, you know. So, you know, for me, I think life is. Luckily, I'm very blessed as a 26-year-old man to do what I love and to make really good money doing it. But it's never really been about that for me. Like life is always about, to me, like the betterment of life. You know, like you could die with $1 million if you ain't doing what you love. Getting that $1 million, you're gonna be miserable. Yeah. So, I've always loved to travel. I've always loved people. Yeah. I believe I'm very good with people. And so, yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good question. You kind of got the wheels turning now, man. Yeah. Like, oh no, if I can't do this in 5 years, I better figure something out.
Yeah, you can still go to veterinary school. There's veterinarian. How do you say that?
I don't know. Let's just not say it. Not put that evil out there. I'm going to be singing when I'm 40. That's what I'm going to
do. Touche. Alan, man, I appreciate it,
Thank
man.
You, Malcolm.
Thank you for taking the time out.
My pleasure, brother.
Malcolm for TheNEHipHop and WERS 88.9.
Hello, my name's Alan Stone. You're tuning to TheNEHipHop.com. Thanks for checking it out.